So I mentioned I bought these tires offline the other day. Yes, indeed. So one of these went flat. I can't remember if this was one of the ones that I thought would probably go flat, or if this was one of the ones that I didn't know was going to go flat, or I don't know. Anyway, I'll get these off here and put them others on here. And then we won't have to worry about that anymore. Eh? That'd be a good thing. Eh? This is how you get them off. You take your little tool and get it in that little C-clamp thing right there. Take that off. I like this tool because I can lay it down and that'll just stay right in there. And I can just pull this off, stick that other one right on. And just like that. Just like that. New tire on the old lawnmower. Oh, ain't it pretty? It's just pretty as can be. I might score a little paint on that at some point. Oh, that don't fit that. Look at there. That's interesting. Okay. Well, I guess I can live without that. I'll put that over here for now. When I get up around the house, I'll poke a little grease in that. Okay. Now, I believe that tire is slightly bigger than that tire. So you know what I think I'll do? I think I'll change both of them. It's not a bad thing. I was thinking the other day that this mower was kind of low to the ground. That actually might level it up a little bit. I didn't expect that was going to be a different size though. That's kind of, I don't know, interesting, odd. I don't know, y'all decide. This might be the one that had a piece of wire on it. That's it. So, I thought this might have came with a C-clamp, but it didn't, and I need to make a new one. And I think I've got some real ones up there in the box. Let me go up there and look. See, that other pin wasn't even a real pin. It was just an old piece of wire. Came in a packing box. That'll do. So I'm gonna ride these around with these tires on here and make sure that I didn't buy something I'm not gonna like. I have gotten tires before it turned out not to be suitable, and those are strangely odd. They almost look like some of them non-flappable tires, which is not a bad thing if they're good. But some they sent me one time before were, I don't know, the texture was just wrong. It didn't work well on the dirt. They tended to slide around. So she sits pretty good that way. It looks like the mower blade's about right as far as the levelness of it. Let's ride her around a little bit. See what we think.
And I noticed lately with those tires are really kind of flat. And these have got a little top point, but they're still good.
Well, those tires actually made this thing steer easier. Now, that's interesting. I was just thinking the other day about how stiff the front end was feeling and how maybe I ought to grease up the front steering spindle. But you know what? Heck far, that's just good right there. Alright. So these tires I took off, well, I'll just save them for spares. I might take this one up there and I don't think that's, well, I'll fix it one way or another. I might go have a tube put in them, put in that one. So, as you know, the other day I set this up where I'd park this up under that porch. Well, I don't like that. I don't feel safe when I crawl under there with my head bent over and crank it, because these hydrostatic lawnmowers, they tend to start moving as soon as they start. And if you're all bent over up under that in a tight space, it makes me feel claustrophobic when this thing starts and it starts moving, and I'm having to grab that handle and do what you have to do, worried about getting my head ripped off. So I might just go back to parking them down here. I could back this up just a little and I could park the two of them side by side here. As long as they crank up and run good, they'd be fine right there. Another thing I might do, this came with a bunch of these little washers, and there's a little wheel play here, so I might stick some of these washers on there to try to adjust out that wheel play. That would probably not be a bad thing. It would be very hard to do, especially while I got the jack, everything right here, the tool and everything. just right, ain't it? Alright, let's do that on the other side. I can probably hear them cicadas. They're still pretty loud here, along with the birds. Alrighty then. I'm gonna go crank the other one up, bring it down here. It's probably got a flat tire on it, and it's a little bit more troubling than this one is because it has that lockout on the hydrostatic part where you can't crank it unless you're pushing the pedal down. That means I'm gonna have to get up under there, push the pedal down, mess with the gear, try to crank it. That's a lot to be doing with just two hands. And eventually I'm gonna get it in the garage and change some things and do some work. But right now I got that boat in the garage, so I'm gonna be messing with that. In fact, I might not want to move that one at all because it's wet. And if I go crawling around up in the grass there, I'm going to get wet. And I don't want to get wet, not especially. So maybe instead of doing that, I'll just top off the gas on the hot rod here. Do some other things. I got a bowl. I'm making some Brunswick stew up at the house too, so I got that going on. I could go grab a grease gun, pour a little grease in these front wheels too. They got a grease filter for that. I'll talk to y'all more in a bit.